What a great pleasure it is for me to be here today. We started this project maybe 3 years ago. We're trying to launch something along this line, but it only was 1 year ago when we were able to put all the efforts together and come up with a proposal that was favorably evaluated by the European Commission. Today we have with us a representative of the Commission, Zoe Wildiers, and we were very satisfied because that meant a lot of trust from the Commission, and we really felt that we could do a good work in it. The work we did was based on what we had been doing in some places, in some countries of Europe. So we got this project approved, and after a process of signature and so on, we started it on March 1st. So this is the first official meeting. Yesterday we have an internal meeting, and this is the first external meeting of the Build Upon project. I'm very glad to Arabs as well for hosting us. I have a long relationship with Arabs, dating back from the 90s, probably. I was at the opening, the inauguration of the office in Madrid, which was a very small place, and then it grew much larger. But I would like to describe what the project is for me, because we have some presentations now we are called inspiring presentations. The first one is the idea of this thing you have here. This token synthetic language is a meeting point. You may wonder what that is. That is English. And this is something that is, this is a very first thing. It's a meeting point for us, and it's an inspiring circumstance, because when we construct words, such as this name, which is actually a phrasal verb, and it's a combination of two things that mean things different. When you put together, you create something that is much larger. So, and the idea of building upon was essential, because we had been doing work, in our case in Spain, we had been working with the GTR group, the Technical Rehabilitation Group, helping our government to design the national strategy. Well, actually, we helped our government a lot, because the strategy was the GTR work. So actually that worked very well. And it was a rudimentary collaborative policy making. I didn't realize at the time that that was collaborative policy making. So as you can see, we intend to build upon what we are, what we have, what we can do. And that includes the buildings, that includes our capacity, and that includes the people we live with, which is something we really need to understand. From my point of view, this is an essential point in this project. So this is a coordination and support action. That means that in theory, all the elements and the pieces and parts are there, but in reality, they do not work together. So this is the type of work we need to do here, okay? And in fact, we were very surprised when we saw that one of the actions of Horizon 2020, which is the research and innovation program of the European Union, had an action, E9, which was about helping authorities define and implement policies and measures in deep energy renovation. Deep energy renovation is what the project is about, but the way we want to do that is not the usual way, but interacting with the stakeholders. Something we need to define how. So this is the next step. It's about stakeholders interaction. We discovered that green building councils were in an amazingly good position to do this, because very intuitively we had been doing this type of work. Okay? We had created a cross-country platform, and we actually were stakeholders. So and stakeholders that includes many stakeholders. And when we put together several countries, you realize that you have much more, so you can reach an additional dimension. And I'm showing this picture here because this is a paradox I like much from Escher, in this case interpreted with Lego. So that's a combination of things that make you think We are very similar, but we are very different, and our differences are our main wealth, of course, based on the similarities. So when you can learn from your differences, building upon your similarities, you really can have a lot. But we need to learn to see things a different way. If you would stand up and have a look at this with parallel visioning, you will see that this is a 3D representation of yin and yang. You're not seeing that now, but we can learn to do it. It takes a while. And after that, and after you do that, you really can do much more because you are entering a different dimension. One of the things that worries me is mistaking the territory by the map. The map is not the territory, and you can get trapped by your map. So you really need to go in and out between territory and map, so that in the end, the map is not a territory, and the territory will be the map for you. Undoubtedly, this is creating new additional dimensions that could help us do things very differently. This inside-out evolving structure I have here is also a metaphor of this possibility. We could enter a new operative dimension, and of course this will be a very powerful driver of change. It is being that already. We'll do that all with intelligence, with design. I'm a designer myself. I am an architect. I lately, and a bit sadly, say that I used to be an architect, but I go on being an architect because here I am designing, with the help of a lot of people, a new type of building, which is a more abstract building, but much more satisfactory than those things we did with walls and roofs. And then we'll do this with this social interaction intelligence. So, in the end, we'll be doing this collaborative policy making, but we yesterday learned that this is not enough. This is a good step to do policies in collaboration with the authorities, but those policies should serve a purpose. They should be good. So you can do this, have your government defining and implementing the policies, but the result can be bad. So we need to go further. And this is why we think that we should go on after we have increased our capacity and created a new scenario for building renovation. We should go on building upon, build upon. Thanks very much for being here. Welcome. And we hope to work a lot with you all in the next 2 years.